Oh, hi. Me again. Here to talk about how people do not seem to be happy with Reneé Rapps right now. She just released her new album, and I think it's bringing up a lot of feelings for people with the whole cheating situation. And as someone who cheated on her ex-husband, I have thoughts about this. So there's a few things I want to start out saying first before I leap into this video. Obviously, cheating is a very taboo and infuriating topic for some people, so I want to tread lightly and preface this video with I would also venture to guess that really anybody watching this video does not know Reneé Rapps and does not know any of the people involved in her life, her past relationships, her current relationship. I think it's safe to assume that no one watching this knows the details of her life. And I just want to say, I think everyone should remember that. We don't know the inner workings of Reneé Rapps' life, and we aren't meant to know. That's not for us. She makes art, she puts art out, that's for us. The specifics of her life, not for us. So while I know that it is common and it's what we do on the internet, we have opinions about things, and currently it's a very popular thing to speak loudly with our opinions of things. Even me, I have no following on any platform, but even I have gotten some of the strangest comments before, and I just can't even imagine. So I just want to remind people that you don't know. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I just think it's incredibly strange when people act like they have all of the information about something like this and speak about things like they know what the fuck is going on behind the scenes. Are you okay? Honestly, that's the main reason why I don't like to do commentary style videos, and I try to steer clear of it, because there is so much that we don't know about all these people that we're seeing online. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So anytime I speak about something like this or about someone or a situation, I make sure that I only say things that I would say to someone's face. Because it's really easy to get behind a camera and start being super judgy of people and people's actions when you don't know them and you've never spoken to them one time and probably never will. I don't know. That's just how I try to think about things, is I would never say something about someone that I wouldn't say to their face, on camera, and put it on the internet. That's super, super weird. Just wanted to throw that out there. Another thing is, as someone who has cheated on someone, I feel like people who don't speak about it super openly, especially online, which makes sense to me. Not many people want to be perceived in that way. They don't want to out themselves as being a cheater or having treated someone poorly or done something shitty. None of us want to be judged in that way by strangers on the internet. So it makes sense, but that's one reason why I wanted to talk about this on the internet, is because I have, and I never would again. And I don't know, I just want to speak more about it because everyone always acts like shit is so black and white, and it generally is very gray, and there's no justification ever for cheating. It's never okay, it's never a good thing, but there is normally something going on behind the scenes, and you don't cheat on someone that you're in a super healthy, happy relationship with. More on that later, but I just wanted to say, talking about it just feels like something I don't want to hide about myself. I would rather just own it, talk about my experience with it for anybody else out there. I don't know, someone who has cheated, feels guilty, or someone who's been cheated on and feels angry. I just want to offer up the perspective of someone who has made a dumb decision and how I feel about it and how I was feeling at the time. So, also know that nothing in this video is going to be a justification for cheating. I don't think there are excuses for cheating. I do think that there are reasons why people cheat, but I'm not trying to justify anyone's actions or my own actions. I'm just offering my experience, my opinions. Like I've already said, things are not black and white generally. And I've never been cheated on to my knowledge. So I'm not going to pretend to know what it feels like to be cheated on. I've only been in the other shitty seat of being the person who made the dumb decision. So I think that's all I'm going to say to start this. And then, yeah, let's jump into it, honestly, because I did a little bit of research. I'm not going to do any heavy deep dive into Reneé. I just have been seeing a lot of the discourse online lately on my TikTok for you and people's thoughts, and they seem pretty bitter and pretty upset. And I was like, as someone who's cheated, I kind of want to talk about more so just about cheating. I'm not necessarily going to be talking about Reneé Rapps. I don't know Reneé Rapps. Like, not going to pretend to know Reneé. And yeah, I'm just going to talk about my experience with, unfortunately, cheating. So I shared a bit about this already in a past video, in my coming out video, I believe. But just as a refresher, or for anyone who hasn't watched that, which, I mean, some people watched it, but not a lot of people. So back whenever I was figuring out my sexuality, I was married to a man. I think I was 27 years old, somewhere around there. And I was really struggling to figure that part of me out. At the same time, my relationship was pretty, I don't want to say broy. It was pretty roommates vibes. It's not like things were super peachy. We weren't being super lovey-dovey. The state of our relationship at that time was very disconnected. And I will take accountability for a lot of that, being I was like in the thick, at the peak of my figuring out my sexuality, and just very tunnel vision towards needing to figure that out. Like, consuming queer content is all that I could do. And it's like I knew deep down, but then I suddenly met someone online that could represent the person that I could have feelings for. And then it started to be like, you need to figure this out. Like, is this something you would actually act on, or are these just like feelings that you have that are like, I don't know. I was married, so I never thought that those would be feelings that I would act on. I would have never thought that I would have been a cheater. So yeah, so basically, I don't think that it's important to give you a play-by-play of how I cheated, but the summary and all that I feel like needs to be shared really is just, I met someone online that lived in another state. We interacted back and forth in a very normal, friendly way, and eventually got flirty. Numbers were eventually exchanged. We chatted for about a month. I got to the point where I was like, I need to know if being queer is something I would actually act on queerness, or is it just something that I'm like thinking about what I don't know. It sounds silly now, but that's just like how I felt at the time. I was very confused and just like feeling a little trapped because I'm in a marriage and I'm also having these like very gay thoughts. And so I met them, we kissed. So we didn't like fuck or anything. It's still cheating, but we kissed and held hands and did like coupley things for a couple days. And then I came home, told him what happened. We split and got a divorce. So it's not something that went on for a super long time. It was like about a month of chatting, an action happened, and then the relationship ended. So I don't think that that's justification for, like, I could say, well, there are things that I can say that are going to sound very like, oh, you're just trying to justify your actions. But it's just true. Like, I would have never cheated on him with a man. I had no interest in that. It wasn't necessarily about the relationship, though it was very disconnected at the time. It was fully about me figuring out my sexuality. So, still shitty, still hurtful, still sucks. And also, I would have never kept that going. I would have never had like a long affair. Like, once it happened, that's all I needed to know to be like, this relationship has to end. And while I do think that I should have ended the relationship before, that's not what happened. And yeah, that's just where we are. So I would have never cheated on him with a man, and I would have never had an ongoing affair and like hid it. Doesn't make it okay. But I'm just throwing that out there. And I also want to throw out there, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to be speaking on the perspective of like people that I feel maybe are in my boat of making a dumb decision one time and having regrets about it. We all know that there are people who are serial cheaters and who cheat on every single person they've ever been with. I am not talking about those people. Something is deeply going on in there to do that, to be just someone who cheats over and over and over and over. That's not who we're talking about, or that's not who I'm talking about. Those people clearly need to do a lot of work. So I don't know what to say about people who do that, honestly. So I'm speaking about people who make a dumb decision and feel awful about it. I've got my notes over here. Don't want to forget anything. So yeah, I've just kind of bullet pointed some things out, some thoughts that I want to throw out there and maybe expand on a little bit. And then we'll wrap it up at the end. Hey, Fwank. Oh, wrong way. This is Fwank. Oh, Fwank. This is Fwank's butt. Yeah, so I'm just going to start throwing some stuff out there and we'll wrap it up with, we'll bring it back to Renee. Oh, there's Fwanker. Hey, where you at? What's up? Girl. So I'm going to start with the hardest part of it all for me, and that is I struggle. It's not like a struggle. I hate that I made a decision that affected someone else's ability to trust in the future with future people. I hate that I affected how he would go on to meet people and potentially have his guard up more. Now, we haven't stayed connected, so I don't know how it's affected him, but I can only imagine, and I'm trying to put myself in his shoes. Like, it sucks that I planted that seed to where any new relationship he went into, he had to consider the fact that someone could cheat on him. That is my deepest regret, is just that I put that on him, and it didn't have to do with him. As I've stated multiple times already, yes, we were very disconnected, but he wasn't a bad guy and he didn't treat me poorly. I just think that as I figured myself out and grew up, it was a bad match. I wish that we could have remained friends, and I feel like, and I could be wrong, I do feel like if I had handled things differently, that maybe we could have remained some level of friends. I'm not talking about hanging out all the time, but I think maybe we could have remained more friendly than we are, and maybe could have grabbed a beer time to time, once a year or whatever, just to catch up, see how each other are doing. But I don't know. That's fully just speculation of being I feel like maybe has a lot of anger towards me because of that, and that is so fucking fair. So that's my deepest regret with all of this, and that sucks. And hopefully he knows that it doesn't have anything to do with him, that was a me thing, that was me needing to figure my shit out, and not a him thing. Okay, this next one is shitty to admit, but I thought that I would feel more guilty about it, in real time. Yeah, I thought I would feel more guilty, as things were continuing to inch closer to inappropriate, the flirting and then the visit and all that. I thought that I would have this intense guilt within me. And I do think that if it had been an ongoing affair, that maybe there would be more guilt. But because it was just a one-time thing and then relationship's over, I think maybe that's why. I don't know how anyone could keep an affair going for people that keep affairs going for years. I can't fathom. I had to immediately. I'm also just not here to judge. And I know people are going to be judging the fuck out of me in the comments, and that's fine. I can take it. I'll probably respond with something super, sarcastic and defensive of myself, because you probably don't know me. And I think it's really funny when you're making comments about me as a stranger. I just think it's so interesting that people feel the need. But I am putting myself out there in this way. I'm opening myself up for it, is what it is. But back to the guilt. I also do think that because I was grappling so much with my sexuality and figuring that part of me out, I really was just locked in on that. I was just complete tunnel vision for, I have to know this about myself. I can't have questions about it. I need to confirm this. I think had that not been an aspect of this, that maybe it would have been different. It would have felt different, and that I would have felt more guilt. Current day, looking back, I guess I'm a little shocked with myself that I wasn't more guilty feeling about it. And I guess thinking about other people cheating now that I've done it and been in it, I can see how it is so easy for people to cheat when they're struggling with things, because it just makes you act in ways that you wouldn't normally act when you're just like at your best or at your happiest or your most comfortable. If there's something that you're struggling with, you start to act out, I guess. And maybe that was me like acting out because I just was struggling with it so much. And I think I've already said this a little bit, but I do want to say that for anyone watching this that has been cheated on, that's sitting there just like angry or feeling very like combative, listening to someone who has cheated like talk about it. Yeah, I just want to remind you that it's not it isn't about you, and I hope that you're able to work through things and get to a place where you don't feel, I don't know, responsible. Like I feel like maybe there's people that would think like, if I had done this differently, or whatever, they wouldn't have cheated on me. I just don't think it's about that. And I say all that to attempt to make you feel better, in that you're totally fine as you are, you know, like, and once again, people who are serial cheaters, if we're talking about abusive situations, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking about people who, you know, maybe unexpectedly get cheated on by someone or whatever. Like, I do think all cheating is not the same. I do think all cheating is shitty and is a bad decision and is not good. But I don't think all cheating is created equal. With everything, it's like a fucking like spectrum. I would say you have people like me in similar boats as me who cheat one time and know that they'll never do it again because of now going through it and knowing like there's really no reason for that. There's no reason for me to cheat again. Me and my girlfriend laugh saying, well, we always say now, because I speak very openly about it with her and have been very open with her about it from the get-go, but it's like she never has to worry about me cheating on her, because I always tell her, I'm like, you shouldn't worry about me cheating on you, because if I get to a place where I would ever want to cheat, like I would just break up with you. You know what I mean? Like if you're thinking about cheating, or you're starting to find yourself drawn to someone else, or like you're not in the right relationship, like I don't know. It's hard to speak so just like specific, because everything is just so different. Every situation is so different. Like there's so many different reasons why someone would cheat. There's so many different things that would make people do that. So I am really speaking from my experience and trying to be like vague with it, but I do believe that if you were in something healthy and something that is right, you probably aren't thinking about cheating on your partner. I don't think people that go on to do that, once again, I'm not talking about people who are serial cheaters. Those are on a whole different plane. I don't know. I just think that like solid relationships, like you're just not really concerned with cheating, and that's just my opinion. Like I'm in like such a happy relationship, thinking about other people is just like not even on my mind at all. I mean, we do talk about wanting to have a threesome, it's on our bucket list, but that's not the same thing. This one I think is gonna make people mad. I think it's gonna make people mad, and that's okay. But I will say what you want, but I do think that anyone is capable of cheating, because life is very messy and you just don't know how things are going to play out, and things happen that you wouldn't expect to happen. So I think if you're sitting up on a high horse right now, I hope you don't find yourself in a situation where you're struggling with something and you find yourself in that place. I'm not saying that means everyone is going to go on to cheat. I'm just saying that, like, I was in a position of thinking that was the type of person that would never do that. Like, absolutely. And then suddenly you find yourself questioning your sexuality, and then, so I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying you're gonna cheat or you're gonna go on to cheat, but I do think that more people are capable of cheating than they would think. And I'll leave that one at that. That's not for me to work through. I've already worked through it. The saying, we all know the saying, once a cheater, always a cheater. Wholeheartedly disagree. Wholeheartedly. I can speak from experience. Like, I know how it feels to get to that point, to be willing to. So I would know how to identify that in the future and be like, oh, alerts are going off. I'm going to need to talk to my partner. Have I gotten to a position where I'm thinking about things with other people or wanting to pursue something with another person? Like, oh, I need to talk to my partner about this, or we need to like work through some things apparently. Like, I would never do that again. I also know what I did was wrong and terrible, and it just is like not something I would act on again. I don't believe that if you cheat once that means you're gonna cheat again. Does it happen with a lot of people? Sure. But I don't know. I understand where that comes from. I totally do. But I just don't believe that, like, if you meet someone and you find out that you meet someone like me, you find out I've cheated on an ex. I think that is a reason to talk through it with that person and definitely talk very in depth with them about it and make sure that that's something that you feel like they're like not healed from, but at a comfortable place. Like, I don't know. I just think that if someone can talk openly about it and talk through it and like kind of reassure you, like, I'm speaking for my partner here, but I also, we've talked about it so much that I can comfortably speak for her. She's not concerned about me cheating on her. Like, that is not even a concern at all whatsoever, because we've talked about it so much and she knows exactly how I feel and we're so on the same page with most everything. It's just something that, it's not a struggle in our relationship. Like, oh, she's gonna cheat on me. Not even a concern. I don't believe that saying. And also, I just think a lot of it is maturing and getting better at communication. 27, I know I'm not necessarily a kid, but I'm still fairly young, and I got married young and immature, and I still had a lot of maturing to do. Foink, get your butthole out of here. I think when we're young, we do stupid things, and I think when we're struggling with something, we do stupid things. Okay, the last point before getting back into the Reneé Rapps stuff. So many people are so black and white when it comes to things in the world, especially with cheating. It's just kind of like, fuck all cheaters, like that kind of thing. I don't know, I just think most things in life are gray. And I will repeat again for the millionth time, I am not talking about serial cheaters. That's not it. But I just think that there's a lot of things in life that can be at play that would cause someone to feel the desire to cheat or actually act on cheating. I sometimes think that people who are super black and white about things, it's like they lack empathy in a way, or they lack the ability to put themselves in someone's shoes, or to, I don't know. To me, it's just like a sign of immaturity, or like immaturity or emotional immaturity. If you aren't able to, like, you see someone do a bad thing, your friend cheated on their partner. I think if you lack the ability to like step back and try to figure out what's at play and why it happened, it doesn't mean that it wasn't a bad thing for them to do. But I just think if you're just like, fuck all cheaters, and then that's it, I don't know. To me, that's just like a childish thing, like a childish way to live. Like, it's just, things aren't black and white. I don't know. Like, and if it's your choice and your right to live that way, it's just not how I live my life with anything. It's just very like, when someone does a bad thing, okay, what like got them there? What led them there? And some people are just bad. Serial cheaters. Some people, you step back and you try to understand it and you can't. But I do think in a lot of cases with cheating, you can take a step back and be like, okay, this was happening. This person wasn't getting the attention they desired. This person was struggling with this. This person was very unhappy in their relationship. I just think there's like always, I do think it can be worked through. Like, I didn't want to work through it with my ex-husband because I wanted to be in a queer relationship. And there were a lot of other things at play too that made it not a great match. But I do think people that do make a dumb decision can work through shit, like, and just get back on the same page. For me, it's just not all black and white, not all fuck cheaters. But bringing it all back to what inspired me to talk about this, which is Reneé Rapps releasing her album people being very vocal about it. And I tried not to consume too many videos about it because I didn't want to be heavily influenced with how I spoke about it. As I said in the beginning, we don't know the specifics of everything, but from what it sounds like on the internet, Reneé cheated on her past partner with her current partner, which I can also relate to because the person that I cheated on my ex-husband with, I went on to be in a relationship with them for like 2 years. So very much can relate to that. Y'all don't know her personally. Like, when you don't know what her past relationship looked like you don't know if it was healthy, if it was loving, if it was abusive. You don't know if they were arguing and breaking up constantly. Like, you just don't know. And even if all of those bad things are true, bad relationship, abusive, arguing, I'm still not saying that cheating is right. But, like, it does change things. Like, it's not like we're talking about someone who was in this potentially, I don't know, but it's potential that it wasn't a super happy, loving relationship, and she just went out and cheated on someone and was like, fuck you, and is like this awful person. It's very highly likely that that's not the case. I can see how people who have been cheated on, I can totally see how they would be upset about some of the lyrics or some of the songs, because it would be very triggering, because you're seeing it from the perspective of someone who has been cheated on and not from the perspective of someone who has cheated. That makes perfect sense. We all have our little life glasses on and experience things differently from one another based on our life experiences. I personally just find it really cool that she was able to release songs that were so brutally honest, and she was so willing to paint herself in a negative light and allow herself to be seen as a villain. Because we are villains time to time. We don't have to be proud of it, but we all do things that are hurtful towards other people, and sometimes we are the villain to some other people. And that's just fucking life. Like, everyone can't be like perfect and great all the time. The world would look so different if we were. One thing that I keep going back to in all of this, because of how mad people are, I am so much more apprehensive of people who are always the victim and people who are constantly talking about how everybody in their life has like done them dirty in some way, and that's the end of the story. It's just like, oh, well, this person did this to me, and like basically people who present themselves as being like, I didn't do anything. Like, I am apprehensive of those kinds of people. If you are always the victim, it's fishy to me. It's fishy because we all like act on emotions, and we all act on hurt, and we say things that we don't mean. We do things that hurt other people. It's just part of it. Like, intentions, good or bad, doesn't matter. We all can treat people negatively and be the villain sometimes. So I'm far less concerned or turned off by someone who is openly talking about how they've cheated or openly talking about how they've treated someone poorly. I'm far less concerned about those people, because if you can own your shit and talk about it and just be like, yeah, I did. I'm more concerned about people who lie and cover it up. We've been watching Vanderpump Rules from the start because we've never seen it. What the fuck? So many people on that show are just flat out fucking liars. Like, that's the kind of thing that I'm just like, what? I don't know why we're so concerned with people who are openly willing to talk about the things that they've done. And you can say maybe it's like, maybe she feels like proud, or she's like she's making light of cheating. Sure, like, but she's talking about it and she's admitting that she did it, and there's no way to take someone cheating on someone like positively, and I think that she knows that. And so yeah, she's maybe poking fun at herself and just like owning it. You don't have to like the way she goes about it, but ultimately it's her art and it's her story, and art is supposed to make you feel something. Art's not supposed to just make you feel good. It's not just supposed to bring like you warm fuzzies. Art is supposed to make you feel, period, end of sentence. And clearly she's doing that. Art makes you mad sometimes. Like, the things that can be the most upsetting are the types of art that make you, I don't know, that make you feel called out for something. I totally feel for the people that are written about and have to relive it. That hurts. That sucks. I can feel for them too. But at the end of the day, like, it is her story to tell. And I've struggled a lot with how much to share on here because I do like talking about life, because I do want people to be able to connect and feel less alone. I'll talk about the shitty things that I've done or the things that I've gone through in life if it means people can feel like they can relate to someone. I don't know. Like, life can feel pretty isolating at times, and especially with social media, we all live on these screens, and if somebody on the other side of it can make us feel heard or seen, or like, oh my god, same, I thought that I was the only one that felt that way, I will happily air out my own dirty laundry if that means that someone can feel less shitty about themselves. So, I mean, yeah, maybe you are mad at Reneé Rapps for bringing up old feelings of being cheated on, but that's just not for her to work through for you. You know, like, she's telling her story in her art, and you just happen to find some of your story in it, and that's art, baby. Like, maybe she is a shitty ass person. I don't know. She's probably not, because like I just said, in my opinion, we shouldn't be concerned about the people who are talking about the shitty things that they did. We should be concerned with the people who are lurking in the shadows, treating people like shit on a pedestal. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm like explaining it. It makes sense in my head, but it's just like, I am not worried about people who are singing about the shitty things that they've done. I'm worried about the people who are singing about constantly being done dirty and constantly being the victim and like hiding all the shit, like stuffing down and silencing and hiding the shit that they've done to other people and putting themselves on this crazy pedestal and acting like they're perfect. That's the people, in my opinion, that we should be mad at, not the people who are making light because they cheated on someone. And also, like, I was talking about this with Sid, my girlfriend, and we were just kind of talking through some stuff, and it's like, when all this happened, she was a public person. Her partner, they were a public person. If she wanted to, like, stuff this down, she could have hired hella PR people to stuff this down and not really be a thing on the internet, but she didn't. I just am more apprehensive of people who try to hide shit. Reneé, your new album fucking slaps. It's about to be played in our household a lot. My girlfriend has already been going hard on what's the last song? The last song is fucking crazy. You'd like that, wouldn't you? She texted me because I listened to the full album yesterday, and she texted me and was like, this song is crazy. I was like, no, it's so wild. The lyrics are so crazy. The album is just, sexy. It's just like her songs are sexy as fuck. And if you are bruised and broken from being cheated on, yeah, it's probably not, there's probably a lot of songs on there that aren't for you. And that's fine. You don't have to listen to them. It's raw. It's sexy. It's like, I think the song is, I Can't Have You Around Here Anymore. Like, that one's pretty intense. Ultimately, she's the only person that knows what's going on up here, and yeah, we all get to make our own shitty ass decisions. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers like most of the things I want to say. Like, maybe she's a shitty person. I don't know her, so I don't really care. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. I'm sure I got the funniest comment on a video recently. Someone said, nothing worse than a liar and a sneaky cheater. That's so funny, bro. That's so funny. It made me giggle. So I'm sure this one is opening myself up to potentially get some comments like that. And don't worry, I can take it. Do your worst. One of my favorite things is strangers who don't know me saying like mean or rude things to me. That's so funny. I can't even fathom doing that to someone that I don't know. So it's funny. But anyways, thanks for watching and listening. Sorry if I triggered you. Hopefully you can see that I'm trying to come from just an honest and open place. Okay, we have a big Uno game tonight, so I'm gonna go get ready for that. I will see you next week. Oh my god, we're on a fucking roll here, bro. We're on a roll. Bye.